So apparently Elon Musk has a trans daughter. She was born a boy named Xavier, and today her legal name is Vivian Jenna Wilson. And back in 2020, when she was still a minor at 16, she wanted to start treatment for severe gender dysphoria, but needed the consent of both parents under California law. She said that her mother was supportive, but that Musk initially wasn't. It's not just initially, it sounds like he still doesn't support it or agree with it. She said she took puberty blockers before she switched to hormone replacement therapy treatments that she said were life-saving for her and other transgender people. Huge red flag, this sounds like activist talk. Although what's confusing is how she described what she went through as treating severe gender dysphoria. Trans activists don't believe that gender dysphoria is a mental disorder, or that the entire reason why people transition is to alleviate a mental disorder. Puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones do not save children's lives. It's a myth. Those drugs actually harm children. I'm gonna get into that. Wilson also claims, they save lives, let's not get that twisted. They definitely allowed me to thrive. How can puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones make children feel like they're free? More free than they were before, when they damage their bodies and their minds so much. I've been basically put into a point where to a group of people, I have to basically prove whether or not I was suicidal or not to warrant medically transitioning. If you're wondering, this is from NBC News. Okay, so it's very clear to me that this person doesn't only identify as trans, but is also repeating the lies coming from the trans activism community. A couple of days ago, Elon Musk sat down with Jordan Peterson. Let's react.
Almost every child goes through some kind of identity crisis. So it's very possible for adults to manipulate children who are having a natural identity crisis into believing that they are the wrong gender and that they need to be the other gender, give them sterilizing drugs so they can never have children again. It happened to one of my older boys. I was essentially tricked into signing documents. It wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs.
Elon Musk is spot on when talking about this topic, when talking about trans activism. Not transsexualism, but trans activism. Elon is obviously a smart guy, so I don't quite understand why he signed those papers that let his son go on puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones. But here's Elon's explanation.
This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on. I was told Xavier might commit suicide.
That is emotional blackmail. It is so disgusting. Think about this. Isn't it weird how old real transsexual people exist today? They all transitioned as an adult, and they're alive today. And if you ever meet those people, ask them, did trans kids exist in the community, in the transsexual community, 30 years ago when you transitioned? They would all say no. The transsexual community, the gender dysphoric community, has always been an adult space. Wonder why? Because identifying as a transsexual means you're gonna medically transition. And until a couple of years ago, everyone believed it wasn't a space for children.
If there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety and not because of the gender dysphoria. And every goddamn clinician knows that too.
The reason why some children who identify as trans might attempt offing themselves is not due to them dealing with gender dysphoria. Most of these kids don't. It's due to the actual mental disorders they struggle with. Comorbidity is a thing, but I would say in this case, young people especially believe they deal with gender dysphoria due to their other mental health issues. A lot of them do struggle mentally. We can't ignore that. But the solution is not to medically transition them. That's disgusting. The medical transition will sterilize the children. It's gonna sterilize adults as well, but at least they can consent to it. Children cannot consent. These children who are struggling with their mental health will also get osteoporosis, a lower IQ, underdeveloped genitals, and the list goes on and on. No matter what the children are truly struggling with, no child should transition. If they're truly gender dysphoric, they can transition when they're adults. End of story.
People that have been promoting this should go to prison.
It won't stop till that happens.
I totally agree with this take, but let's talk more about that in another video.
They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
The reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead.
What's so ironic is how the same people who invented the term dead naming are so triggered because Elon said his son is dead. Elon is basically just agreeing with the term or using it. I mean, his son is not dead, his child does exist, is alive, but it must be so difficult heartbreaking to lose your son to woke ideology. Not just an ideology, but to drugs that are harmful, not helpful, not life-saving. Believing that sterilizing children with puberty blockers is the only way you can keep them alive is absolutely insane, and no evidence can back that up. That's exactly why these doctors should be in jail. They're abusing their power, lying to parents who are desperate, who obviously don't want to lose their children. I mean, it's always a good idea to do your own research about anything, basically, but we should also trust doctors. We have to trust doctors. They actually have a degree. And we don't know everything. We shouldn't replace our doctors with Google. We all know how dangerous that is. No matter why we're feeling under the weather, Google says we're gonna die. We need better doctors. I think that's the solution.
So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus. I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. And we're making some progress.
This quote is iconic. I love it. Here's what Elon Musk tweeted about his son. I can't. They have blurred Vivian's old name because it's so triggering. Xavier was born gay and slightly autistic, two attributes that contribute to gender dysphoria. I mean, I would say those attributes make a person believe that they're gender dysphoric, but they're not, truly. I knew that from when he was about 4 years old, and he would pick out clothes for me to wear, like a jacket, and tell me it was fabulous, as well as his love of musicals and theater. But he was not a girl. Vivian is not a girl today either, and will never be. Something I believe Vivian will always refuse to acknowledge. Here's Vivian's response. This entire thing is completely made up, and there's no reason for this. Right, no reason. He doesn't know what I was like as a child because he quite simply wasn't there. I'm not sure that's true, but let's continue. And in the time that he was, I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness. Obviously he can't say that, so I've been reduced to a happy little stereotype. I'm actually not sure what that word is. Along to use at his discretion. I think it says a lot about how he views queer people and children in general. You know what? The interview he did with Jordan Peterson did say a lot about what he thinks about children, queer people, queer children even. And he's right.
The so-called gender-affirming care, which is a terrible euphemism. It's child mutilation and sterilization. It's evil. We have an age of consent for a reason. If we allow children to take permanent actions when they're 10, 12, 14 years old, they will do things that they subsequently greatly regret.
The interview revealed that he's smart, that he has good morals. He believes we should leave children alone. He doesn't believe it's ethical to give children sterilizing babies just because they're gender confused. Ya Allah. If I could, I would ask Vivian this. Who's exactly reducing you to a queer stereotype? Is it Elon, who believes that you shouldn't transition to live your life as a woman just because you're feminine? Or is it you, who believe that you can't be a boy while being feminine at the same time? Who's the one truly, seriously identifying as a slur? I'm pretty sure Elon has never called you a queer. Whatever you say, I'm legally recognized as a woman in the state of California. Congrats. That means absolutely nothing. Doesn't change your chromosomes, your DNA, your sex, but okay. And I don't concern with the opinions of those who are below me. Obviously Elon can't say the same because in a fueled haze he's desperate for attention and validation from an army of degenerate red-pilled incels and pygmies who are quick to give it to him. Go touch some grass. Oh my god. Unique god. Not kidding, really. That's a lot. I wish I could say it's all bullshit, but I don't know, Elon. It sounds like bullshit. Mostly because if you want to paint all people who want to protect children as incels, no, what was it? Degenerate red-pilled incels and pygmies, there's something seriously wrong with you. And when Elon claimed that his son was killed by the woke virus, he's referring to his son being brainwashed. Clearly, this is a very brainwashed person. We don't know if Elon was a terrible father. It could be true that he wasn't there during Vivian's childhood. But if we just imagine that Vivian is right, it is the truth. Why is she so triggered, so angry and hateful when receiving backlash? If she's truly gender dysphoric, if she's truly a transsexual woman, why care about the people who question that? I remember when I was stuck in a toxic friendship, my non-toxic friend pointed out how they were toxic, and I got so mad at her. I got so mad and defensive. If I wasn't in a toxic friendship, I would be like, what are you talking about? I would listen to what she had to say. I would genuinely be confused. But I wasn't. I wasn't confused. I wasn't curious to know her perspective. I didn't want to hear her perspective because deep down I already knew it was the truth. But I didn't want to acknowledge it. I'm kind of getting the same vibe here. If Elon is so wrong, was a terrible dad, therefore he doesn't know what his son was truly struggling with, why can't you just make a very down-to-earth, calm reaction, statement? Why be so aggressive? And shit-talk all the people who are against medically transitioning children? Why? Why is that even necessary? I'm speaking out against it 24/7 and I receive death threats. That's of course a sign of people not having any counter-arguments. But even the people who make response videos, not threatening me or anything, have the most immature non-arguments. It's like, oh, he's editing his thumbnails really weird. Oh, he's like this other YouTuber with less subscribers. That's not an argument. Before I forget, even if Elon was a terrible father, is he still wrong? Is he still wrong about children cannot consent and shouldn't be sterilized just because they feel like they're the opposite sex? After watching hours of trans influencers on TikTok, he could be the most horrible father in the world and he's still right. We're seeing so many celebrities with trans kids nowadays, but I think this is the first case of a celebrity who doesn't want his child to medically transition, who wasn't supportive or encouraging, and that's really interesting. I feel really bad for Elon. I do understand he signed the papers back then because Elon thought that if he didn't, it would be his fault if his son committed suicide. And when the doctors were telling him, it's so safe, it's life-saving, it's even reversible, why not sign those goddamn papers? I hope that with Elon speaking out, more parents are gonna wake up, are gonna do their own research, and I hope more kids, of course, are gonna be saved from this ideology. Because even if a child deals with gender dysphoria, they don't deserve to get their mind and their body destroyed. No child deserves that. Thank you all for watching. If you want to see more content like this, remember to hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you want to support me and my channel, you can become a member, or I have my PayPal link in the description down below. Follow me on social media. I love you and I cannot wait to see you in the comments. Peace out.